Hey everyone, welcome back to our podcast. We are super excited today because we have a very special guest that's near and dear to my heart. Rich Sheldon is from Twin Falls area, which is just a short 45-minute drive from me, and he is a force to be reckoned with. He opened up his brokerage in that town just 1 year ago, and their growth has exploded. All I see all over social media is more agents joining and going, and we today get to learn all his sexy secrets to getting all of these agents into his world and what he's doing to keep them there. And so we are really excited to learn about it. And one of my favorite things about him is he's got a philosophy that cuts through the BS: people before paychecks and doing the right thing always. Like, how can you go against that? So,
Love that.
welcome. Thank you so
Welcome,
much.
Rich.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I want to start it off. So, how did you get started in real estate?
Yeah, so before I was in real estate, I was a headhunter for recruiting, not to like for people, but so I headhunted finance executives, and it's really similar to real estate. So I was working the big corporate roles, executive C-suite, basically hanging with the people who are like always better than you, which drove me insane.
Okay.
And so we ended up moving last second for a family tragedy, unfortunately. Then we came back to Hayburn, right by you.
Yeah.
And then we ended up in Twin Falls where our family was. And I was like, this is the perfect time to just do a 360 switch and all cards on the table, let's go. And so I was like, real estate makes sense. It's similar to recruiting. In a sense, it's similar to headhunting. You're finding business, you're building community. Like it's all about the people. And so it was an easy transition in my mind, a really hard transition in reality. But so that's what got me into it. I got licensed in Boise before we had moved here, and I was in the ISA for a large team in Boise for about a year. And I just made like hundreds of phone calls a day, inside sales rep, right? And got screamed at for fun,
Yay.
and learned how to take rejection and overcome objections and do all of that. And for some reason, I still enjoyed it. And so when we came up here, I just was like, we're doing it and we're doing it on a large scale. I'm not a person that sits still and does things like on a small scale. So I just went for it. And here we are.
I love it. So, did you join Sweet Group as soon as you got licensed, or did that kind
Um,
of morph?
Yeah, so I was actually previously I was KW, Boise, before we moved, right? And we came up here and I'm super grateful for the KW background. I think they have a great training program and that kind of helps with my roots.
Mm.
And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm ready to do something more individual where the money goes a little further, frankly.
Yeah.
And so, but with that being said, like it allowed me to grow more too and make new policies, new rules, like
Yeah.
break the mold versus following a different thing that's already been set up. So that's important to me, is to do things different. I think that you can do things the same because it's always worked, but you have to break it a little bit as well. And if you can't do that, then you have to find somewhere you can do that. So
And I actually love that. That's one of the things that like attracts me to you so much is just your ability to come in and shatter how it's always been done and do it your own way with your own twist.
now is like when I had my team, my goal was 100 always. So I was like, even if it's like year two and I did 20, my goal is always 100. Let's go. Let's figure it out. And if we're not figuring it out, what's broken? Let's break it again. It was always like, how can we push harder? How can we push harder and love on people more? But
Is
Yeah.
just for people that don't know, I'm just that because I think I'm from Canada, right? So is
yeah,
Sweet Group like an independent brokerage?
Jeffrey Sweet is actually the owner and broker. And so he's out of Boise.
So
And
you were there in Boise and then you
I
started
was at
KW and then
KW, so Keller
yeah.
Williams in Boise, and then
Yeah.
Sweet Group after I left KW and Twins.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. And Sweet Group has been around for a little bit. They just haven't been very loud in Twin Falls. They didn't have a lot of like agents up here. Their main office was in Boise. And my goal was like, let's blow this up. Like this, he has a great vision. I had a great vision. And we're both very direct, honest, blunt people that just want to do business and do it well. And that's what it's all about, is just like cutting the BS and cutting the frills and doing the business and supporting each other along the way.
So
So
what kind of caught my attention is all of a sudden I kept seeing all these agents and you started like a team. So
yeah.
tell me one, like what made you be like, was it your KW background that was just like, oh, I need to start a team?
Honestly. And I also just really enjoy helping and leading people. And so, regardless, that was like in the cards, right? And so I was just like, I want to do this. It's going to be great. And it was great. And then it grew so much that I was like, okay, now we have to adjust, right? Because now scalability isn't scalable. And now I feel personally like someone's getting left out when I don't want that. And so I had to adjust to the whole brokerage to be able to make sure everyone was getting support. So we did have the team for 2 years and grew that pretty well. We did a lot of volume. It was awesome. In Twin, we got very well known quickly, which I was super proud of. But it wasn't through just like transactions. It was through like community involvement and being available and helping others. And that's important to me that it's not just about the dollar signs that are going through. It's about like how people are being affected. So
Yeah. Giving back, changing
yeah.
lives. Yeah.
Yep.
Love that.
Um, what was your, when you were, or as you're recruiting, what's your strategy behind it? Is it just people noticing you? Or are you actively reaching out to people?
Yeah, so with my background being like executive headhunting,
You're a
um,
pro. You're like,
my
dialed.
yeah, my brain was always like, okay, cool. Like I want this person, right? Like I have this, we called it in recruiting the hit list, which sounds horrible, but that's what we called it. And I always had this list like in my mind written down, like I'm a huge visualize it and it will happen person, speak it out loud and it will happen person. And so I had it written down as like a scroll.
I love it.
So I was like, we are not recruiting hard until we have these policies, these procedures, these things in place. So we are not just another new brokerage in town trying to do something and then it falls apart because we weren't prepared. And so I waited until like we were ready and then I just pulled the trigger and started bringing in people who I really respect and loved. And it wasn't easy. It's not easy to bring in people to somewhere that's not known when they're producers or performers. And you're like, come trust me, it's going to be great.
And especially in a small town, because it seems like the broker's their uncle, or it's, oh, that's my mom's dad's brother. Like we're best friends. So it is hard. Early on
Yeah.
in my career, I made a mistake. I called an agent in the area. I was like, we did a transaction. I was like, I freaking love her. Like, I
Yeah.
want to add her to my collection. She's amazing. Like, she's such a good culture fit.
Yeah.
After I got off the phone with her, about 10 minutes later, her mom called me and ripped me a new one and said, by the way, you can't have this guy either. He's my brother. And I was like, I didn't want that. I just wanted her. And I was
I
like,
mean,
died.
that's
It
wild.
happens. It
Yeah.
happens. We had that too, and a few times, and I was just like, holy moly, like people, I'm from a really small town, like in Oregon, but have spent most of my life in small towns in Idaho, farming and ranching, so I get it. But at the same time, I'm just like, holy moly, like it's really connected here. So
Yeah.
How
One of
many people did you grow your team to? Sorry, Desi.
oh, you're good.
So we were actually, we only had, I say only, sorry, but we had 5 people on the team,
Okay.
which was one of the largest teams in Twin. I guess I didn't realize that until actually, funny enough, like 4 or 5 months ago, because my brain is always, okay, we can do better, we can do more. And
Yeah.
so I stopped and reflected and I was like, oh, that's one of the largest in Twin. There's only 2 that like have actual team structure. So it was just interesting to reflect on that. But yeah, so I had 5 and then our brokerage has grown from like around 3 to 16. So
Oh,
Huge
that's
growth.
pretty good in the last 4 years.
in the last 1 year on the brokerage.
Oh,
Yeah. So the brokerage growth has been 1 year. And Jeff, my broker, he's awesome in support. He's awesome in growth and pushing me. And you need that person that's not scared to be the you that you need
Mhm.
and tell you like, get it together, keep going, push. This is, you're doing what's right, or reinforcing your thoughts. So
that's
So
awesome.
you guys are heavily involved in the community. Tell us more about what you're doing to actively serve your community and what's working, what's not working.
yeah. I think things where realtors aren't as involved are important because, as we know as realtors, we all have events that we all go to all of the time. And so it's like you're
Mhm.
sitting in a room with the same people all of the time. And so I just challenge people, if it's a free event, if it's a kids event, if it's a homeschooling event and you have homeschool kids, match your people and get out there and go to these like weird meetups and do the things that are uncomfortable. And if there's no realtors there, awesome. Like you did great. And so
You're winning.
yeah, because that's your audience now, no one else to compete with. And there's so many people who will go once and they'll see 4 or 5 realtors and they feel like they're competing with them when really you're just collaborating because people are going to go to the person that they flock to anyway at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so you're never really, you shouldn't be in that like competing mindset. It's just if I do my best and show my best, it's going to come to me. But I think a lot of people get scared when they see realtors and too many in one spot. And so the consistency dies.
It's terrifying.
So,
Flock
yeah.
of realtors.
Yeah, but I love it, but you can't build your business going to realtor events 24/7. And so I just have always told people like go where there's not other like-minded people, like challenge yourself to go outside of what you're used to and your norm. And if you can't do that, it's going to be really hard to grow your business in general because you have to work and talk to people that do not match with you. Like you absolutely do, and you'll learn to fall in love with different styles of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Like, honestly, it's like community and collaboration mindset.
Yeah.
And I feel like Desi and I really share that with you. I think that's 100% the way to go, right? Well,
Yeah, I
I
love
think
it.
that's like people take it for granted. They're just like, oh, that's too easy. It can't just be about
Mhm.
community and relationships and collaboration. There's got to be a different thing. And
Yeah.
no, it literally is that easy. That's all it is relationships.
Yeah.
is there a
It's a
specific
hustle,
event
but
that do you run a specific event, or is there something that you really gravitate towards? Like you mentioned homeschooling
yeah.
or something like that. Is there something that's really your jam?
Yeah, so I think that I'm like all over, honestly. I haven't honed into, yeah, I sprinkle everywhere. Yeah. So here's some glitter here and there. But but I think that if you hone into one thing too hard, too long, then that's when you find, I don't know, I'm just gonna say that's when you find like the copycat, right?
Yes.
Because
Oh,
we've
yeah.
all been taught like rip off and duplicate. If it works, rip it off and duplicate it. Let's be honest. And if you do it too long, it's okay, cool, you're stagnant now. So you have to always be fresh. But yeah, my one of the people on my team still in my brokerage, she's really passionate about like food and feeding people. So we're going to be doing the Everybody Eats at the end of March and going in and cooking as a team and feeding the community. And so it's just like things like that. Do something different, do something that's impactful, show up at the parade and just hand out water bottles. Like you don't have to be in the parade. It's just being active and like as many touches as possible. And that's what counts.
Oh, I love that.
I'm over the brokerage as a total now,
Oh,
not as
okay.
a broker, but as the regional director.
Okay.
And they all like report into me and the broker simultaneously. So yeah, I still call it my team because I can't let go of
Okay.
that word. But and they really are like we do collaborate still. We do meet like all the time still. I'm here to help. I'm here to coach them. But we
So
did
you've just
disperse the actual
shifted.
team.
You've
Yeah.
shifted. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be a lot, like having a small team and then also being the regional
Mhm.
director of a brokerage. So it's like you've got like a double team going
Yeah.
on. I don't know if
Well,
that's
and I
a
think
term, but
that's what happened though. I think that's what happens to teams is I'm not sure of all of your background, but Desi, right? She's got a good sized team. And then if you have people that want to come on that are in the brokerage and aren't on a team, but
Mhm.
they're individual producers, then you run into I want help or I want to be in the community. But the only way you're going to do that is to come and do that with my team, right? Because I'm the one doing all of the bulk because we're the bulk of the company at that point. And
That's
so
a
it
really good
becomes
point.
this weird separation
Yeah.
where they almost feel like I can't come ask for help because Rich is busy with the team, or I can't do this because Rich is busy with that. And I don't want that. I want one whole cohesive unit where it's I can help you, I can be here for you. And if you want to grow and want the help and you're going to ask, then why wouldn't I pour into you?
Which I love because it is hard because sometimes like they'll leave the team and just go to the brokerage and then they're like,
Mhm.
can I still use your office space? And it's, I don't know, because
It's
the
an awkward line.
it's can I still use your lock boxes? Can I? And it's I don't know. You
Because
know,
there's got to be a benefit to being on the team
right.
Mhm.
versus, and so then the team members are gonna feel like something's off, right?
Yeah.
Like that is actually really something interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're not very clear about it, which is hard because you almost become, you don't want to be rude or too abrasive, but at the same time, you have to set such a clear line when somebody does make that switch that it almost feels rude or abrasive, even if you're not trying to be rude or abrasive, because it's just, yeah, you can't use my lock boxes. You have to go buy them. Here's how you do it. Like, I still want to help you with the solution, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like, you almost are saying, I can't help you anymore, but I want to still help you. And it's just really awkward. So
Okay.
that's really why I stepped away from it because I felt like it was doing more mental gymnastics than helping. And honestly, like within 3 days of the shift of changing it, it was like boom, right back to where we started, where we want to be like mentally and emotionally within the brokerage. So
I
it's
love
been amazing to shift it, but
So, what are your big goals for this year?
yeah, so lofty. So the team, of course, I was set for 100, and then we made some changes. So I changed that to my personal goal, which we can do it. I have systems in place and processes in place. We can do it. And I do have a goal to hire an assistant this year as well, as I know I've talked to you about. Game changer, for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
gonna help you go to 100.
That's
Like
gonna
I sure
you
be
hope
get that
so.
assistant in, that's gonna be the defining moment for you.
Yeah.
for
I
sure.
hope so. I just hired a great TC as well. Like I was without a TC for a second, and that really helped as well, just to let me keep doing the business and not get stuck in the paper. So
And as you're hiring that assistant, reach out to me because I've done it wrong a lot of times. So I can share what I did that didn't work.
I think that we've all just messed up so many times to get to where we are. You have to be able to fall on your face a lot in this business and be okay with it and learn from it. So I get it.
Yeah.
Rich, if you had one piece of advice for a brand new agent just starting out, what would you tell them if you do this one thing, you can't fail? Like you can't not be successful.
Connect with people, get out of your house.
Get out of your house.
Yeah, that's a good
Like,
one.
I feel like new agents really
Yeah.
struggle with, I'm so nervous, I don't know the answers, and I don't want to put myself into a situation where I don't know no one cares, honestly, if you know the answer. They want you to find it, figure it out, and come back to them. That's more respected than knowing everything.
Mhm.
And I just wish people would just insert themselves and go for it and just screw up and learn from it and own it. Honestly, that's all. That's how I did it. I totally fell on my face and I'd be like, I totally screwed up. I get it if you're mad at me, but this is why, this is how I can fix it. It's not a big deal. And so you just gotta be real.
I love it. Any questions, Liz? Any last questions?
No, you know what? I just think your story is honestly inspirational for anybody that's moving into a new community. You got at it, and holy smokes, I think that's awesome. I love the advice. If somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they find you?
Yeah, so I'm a social media person. So Rich Realty Idaho for Instagram or Facebook. And then obviously we all have phones. So text or call. If you Google Rich Sheldon or Rich Realty, my number's everywhere. So text or call and I'd love to connect.
I love it. We'll drop the link to in the podcast. And of course, we'll be sharing it with you and putting
Thank you
some
so
shout
much.
outs for you.
I appreciate you so
Awesome.
much.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me.